Aloha and welcome. For this short video, I'll be discussing the renders for building adaptations for site number 1. Following this video, the survey will ask for your feedback on these adaptations presented. Shown here, we have the first site located Mauka Waikiki along Alawai Boulevard at the Twin Tower condominiums. It's located in a FEMA AO zone that's subject to inundation by a 1% annual chance flood event, in addition to future sea level rise. Through the following renders, adaptations will be shown based on the analysis of the existing conditions that you're seeing in this section perspective render now, then potential 2050 conditions, as well as 2100 conditions with various sea levels for each timeframe. Labeled with the white dashed lines to the right are different water levels that were used for the scenarios in the following renders, where adaptations can accommodate these impacts of 2 feet and 6.7 feet of sea level rise plus a king tide. Along the bottom of the page is also a bird's eye view of the conditions for each render for this site. Throughout the renderings, the orange line can be followed, indicating ground levels. This can be used to observe the changes of the ground elevation for the different scenarios. Here, the existing ground level is shown as a section cut through the site. To the left are the sea level rise BFE and DFE for each scenario. The diagram above shows a more in-depth annotation of these recommendations. Something to note about this site is that it's predominantly a car-centric area and has a typical building typology of a podium with a residential tower that is frequent in Waikiki, with below-grade parking subject to inundation. Without adaptation, the projected scenario of 2 feet of sea level rise and 0.62 feet king tide in 2050 would cause the street to experience flooding, and the building would be inundated from the below-grade parking. To avoid this, some accommodations shown in the icons at the top of the page are used for this scenario. C shows a strategy to repurpose below-grade space that was previously parking. It is recommended in this render to fill the space to the adjacent grade and repurpose it for a use like below-grade water storage. Another building adaptation, G, shows a strategy to elevate exterior circulation that provides new access to the building from the street level. H indicates the building adaptation to relocate critical equipment to be above the sea level rise DFE. Again, these are shown with the labels to the left. J shows the accommodation for rainwater collection for the building. Another accommodation is to raise the streetscape. Here, it has been raised 2 feet and 2 inches from the existing conditions to avoid flooding with the 2 feet of sea level rise plus a king tide, indicated by the black arrows. Other strategies incorporated into this site are vaulted utilities, biofiltration, labeled as 2 and 5. Lastly, a 2100 scenario of 6.7 feet of sea level rise and 0.85 feet king tide was rendered. To avoid flooding, the road needs to be raised again, and the building has been elevated using fill. This is shown by B and 1. This render shows a more ideal situation that prioritizes a building context as it relates to people in public space. The building could have a more welcoming storefront with local shops, and the whole site can improve previous strategies shown, like the biofiltration through vegetation that can also be used as shade, in addition to water storage and vaulted utilities, as well as previous adaptations indicated by G, H, and J. Mahalo, and please feel free to refer back to this video or the following images when answering the survey questions.